And we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and, of course, our first impressions of the latest games releasing. As usual, it's me, Jake, and today we're talking about Death Stranding on PC. Death Stranding originally released on PS4 only in November of 2019, and it proved to be a little bit divisive, but as a big Hideo Kojima fanboy, I really enjoyed it for the most part. And now the wait is finally over for PC fans. Death Stranding is available on your shiny high-end machines today, and we hopped in just to check it out real quick and, of course, provide some good old-fashioned before you buy first impressions. I have some new insights to the game, some first impressions on the PC port, and I might repeat a few points I have made in the past, but let's get into it. Yes, this seems to be a pretty competent PC port. We're running on a high-end machine here, I'll admit. This is a 2080 Ti, but just diving into user reviews, I haven't seen many issues yet from people with varying builds, including a couple of personal friends of mine. There are always issues out there upon launches. Of course, it's PC, but sometimes there are big red flags when something launches, and I try to point those out, but so far, I haven't seen any cause for alarm with Death Stranding, except for some funny glitches, but that comes with any game. Seriously, they are pretty funny, though. Look them up if you can find them. But clearly, as you can see here, especially if you turn up the YouTube settings and put it on full screen, this game really looks good on PC. I was a little concerned at first because I did think it was one of the best looking games on the PS4, but of course, with the extra horsepower here, you get those benefits, and they really do go a long way. You know, those PC benefits, playing this game at a high frame rate on a really good high-resolution monitor with decent refresh rate really makes a hell of a difference, especially for me, since I got pretty intimate with the game on PS4. I saw every inch of it. I saw everything, but seeing it again here is really nice, down to just the weather and atmospheric effects looking way, way better, environmental details like rocks and grass looking more crisp, an incredible draw distance that was already good on PlayStation really is just kind of hammered home here. Details on like Sam's jacket and his gear, like his straps, look noticeably way more detailed, even down to the shine on the glass of the BB pod unit. Like, there is just a noticeable difference here all around. Basically, I know it sucked to wait this long for the game on PC, but thankfully, it could have been longer. It wasn't too long. But on the technical side, it does seem worth the wait. I'm not Digital Foundry, but this game looks damn good and runs pretty damn good. And the settings are pretty decent too. Like, you can see them here, But what is the game? If you've been living under a rock? Oh boy. Let's break it down. It's a strange and interesting one. Definitely unlike any other game you may have played before. So you play as Sam Porter Bridges. He's played by the Boondock Saints guy. You're in a post-apocalyptic America suffering from the Death Stranding. Sort of at first considered to be like the next Big Bang, but affecting how humans die and the afterlife and seemingly just the passage of time itself. Timefall is a rain that everyone needs to avoid because it can get on your skin and it'll age you rapidly. Corpses essentially can become ticking time bombs. There's a place you can go to called a beach. There's a lot here. I'm keeping it light because it gets insanely overly complicated very fast, but as it goes on, you can sort of get a decent understanding of what's going on. Like, when you get the grips, it's pretty cool. To get down to simple again, like I said, you play as Sam, and he's a delivery man. In this world, physical goods still need to be transported the old-fashioned way, as many people live in bunkers underground, so it's up to you to take packages, pile them up on your back, strap them on your arms and legs, and venture across large, dangerous stretches of land to give a package to a person. Sometimes it's dumb stuff for side quests like photographs or pizza or whatever. Other times it's vital supplies like meds for survival or just stuff to progress the story. Completing these deliveries nets you a rating and you increase an arbitrary rank, slowly being able to carry more as well as getting better equipment for venturing out in the world and making your life a little easier. Like, you get a cart to drag along with you to bring more packages around, exoskeletons to help with travel and traversal and tools and weapons. You get more as you go, and basically that's the core loop. And thankfully they have thrown in a couple of new little goodies here and there for the PC version that are just like basically Valve goodies. referencing PC and Valve stuff. It's really just mostly cosmetic, but I still appreciate that it's here. I appreciate the extra little bit of content for PC fans, even if it is surface level. I just like nods to Half-Life, and I really like Valve, so yeah, that's just me. Now back to the game. It is in some ways kind of like a high-end, super expensive AAA walking simulator. I know some of you will say that. As Sam, you do a lot of hoofing it on foot. There are vehicles, but I still just don't really like the way they control. For me, the fun is in the walking and the carrying management. Like, it's actually a gameplay feature. You have to worry about where Sam steps, how steep of an incline you're coming at, how much stamina you have left, whether or not your boots are getting worn out, your battery life, delicately balancing all of the packages on your back. You can fall and damage these packages and hurt yourself, and you get penalized for your deliveries in a bunch of ways. It can often be really tense and stressful, but it emphasizes planning and strategy and getting the new equipment and learning how to use it properly, and it ends up being really, really satisfying. The satisfaction for me was actually feeling myself trek across a variety of different landscapes for hours, and it made it feel like a real adventure. You know, the world is so open and massive that it feels like you're actually walking across America and reconnecting it, just like how the story and the premise suggests. You know, I find it addicting and fun, while also like a nice mix between contemplative and serene and relaxing when you're walking across a massive landscape and there's cool music playing, while also sometimes just being intensely challenging. It's still a video game at the end of the day, and I think that's good. Plus, there's the whole community element. There's the interconnectedness of it all, which is a bit hard to explain, but essentially, the more people play the game and engage in this world, you're incentivized to actually build things and plop things down on the environment to make traversal easier, like ladders or bridges or ropes in special spots, kind of leaving it along for the next person online to just experience it. Think of how, like in Souls games, you'll find marks on the floor that will give you little hints that other players left behind online. They could also troll you. Death Stranding kind of takes that concept and builds it into actual infrastructure in the game, and the more people play, the game will eventually have highways running through it to make your life easier, and you can contribute to them too, and you feel like it's actually meaningful, and it's really fun. It's a weird game, like I said, but I still think it's solid and satisfying, and I'm glad it looks way better on PC. You know, there's still stuff, there aren't enough bosses or enemy variety. I still, even upon revisiting, I'm not a big fan of the combat. Thankfully, the combat isn't like the main gist, but like also a lot of the story is dumped on you in the last quarter of the game in kind of a weird way, but I still think this one is worth experiencing. It's incredibly unique. The story and the characters are really unique and interesting, as long as you're willing to put up with some things. And overall, the delivery gameplay is really cool. And also, Cliff is really cool. You're really going to like to see where his story goes. But, of course, this is a before you buy. I'm just giving you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion. And now I want to hear yours down in the comments. Of course, these are just first impressions on the Death Stranding PC version. Just kind of like a quick revisit. I'd love to know what you guys think if you did jump on PC, if you've been waiting for so long. Let me know what you're thinking, what your first impressions are, because since the game just kind of launched this morning. But if you played on PS4, you know, after you beat the game and you sat with it for a while, do you still like it as much? Do you like it more? Let's talk about anything Death Stranding down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video though, maybe we helped you out, steered your purchasing decision, maybe you learned something, clicking the like button's the best way you can help us out. We'd really appreciate that. And if you're new, maybe consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.